He's driving right. Yeah, so good.
Everybody else is you know how to that was another one. I feel like this does it need to be like per basis?
Just like water. You know, any different lanes of water. Like the only way to be able to
I thought it was like dead center lane back into the yard. But you'll see.
I can't say that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, I think mine.
I know it matters. And it fills the word out if they go. How much more expensive? But it operates the same way as drive-by bridge.
Jim Ball, come here a minute before you start.
All the way back to the cover, but you just check it.
I tried to call him,
We couldn't send a notice out.
you know, it was like 700 to win 200 first. And the second quarter, you get to 185 win 100. In the third quarter, you would split up 100 and win 300. Fourth quarter, 100 win 400. But you see all the games? No. That was a BS technical foul. She was 1 point. Big half down. 1 point. Away from her. She was breaking the third quarter.
They did good.
33, I believe. But that. Now, if he did hit a goal, he did. She was 2 for 3. I heard. You didn't heard about that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you didn't get it? She did. It's sticking off the bread.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
We gotta take this letter right here, put it on the seat, our head, fill it up with our teeth, if everybody agrees.
Like they take back in there. There's 6 months. They'll sit here well, they reckon our penalties, thank you.
I hope so. That's right.
Take your
But I
He asked for resume, he didn't get sound on English. We got 3 candidates. I said, well, when we get to the committee, y'all tell me the time. And no, I know what it is. Y'all want to go to the position too, pick 3 out, do that. Okay, we'll do 6 of them. 30 minutes of those things. Oh, yeah. Mark, you ready? This be your last time to make the call on it. Sure, left on her. I hate that.
Copy's got out of order, Mayor. Can you just? Thank you, folks.
Yes, sir. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the March 5th Magee Board meeting. At this time, we'll lead prayer and pledge allegiance, and Aldermen and Large Sue Honey has the prayer of the week. She's going to introduce her speaker. Everybody stand, please.
Brother Jason Webb, who is the pastor out at Good Work, is going to give a prayer.
Let's pray together. Father in heaven, we thank you for life. Lord, there's so many important details to what we have to handle and our city has to handle. And Lord, we pray for those. But Lord, when we first start off, I thank you for the gracious gift of life that you've given them, every one of us. Right now, we're able to breathe your air, and we're able to be alive today by the rhythmic beat that you give our hearts. So Lord, we praise you for that this life is a gift. And I pray that you would continue to remind us of that each and every day. Lord, I pray for this meeting. God, we ask that you be with our leaders. We ask that you would be able to use them in mighty ways, Lord, that they would lead through their strengths, Lord. And Lord, one of the best things we see by following you is that the best leaders learn by serving, Lord. So thank you for their willing to serve and lead. But Lord, I pray for our town. God, I pray that you would continue to bless it. I pray that you would watch over it. Lord, we've seen really high highs and really low lows. But Lord, I pray that we would all know that you're still there at every step. Lord, be with each decision, give wisdom, discernment, and we ask this in Christ's name. Amen.
Raise the flag and move to attention, salute, pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, you may be seated. Yeah. All right, y'all on their mayor's report. We got sad news for us, and we got good news for our attorney, because his business really gotten good. But we want, and by the way, I have a plaque for you. But anyway, Mark wants to make a presentation.
I just want to recognize Mark McMillan for what he's done for the city the last 2.5 years, for his time and all his efforts. It has not gone unnoticed, and I just want to say thank you to the board.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, this time we need to approve the agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
All right, Patrick. Sue, the second, all in favor? All right, work project committee reports. Mark just announced, Mark McMillan is moving on to his private practice, but we've got to hire a city attorney. Now, we have three applications, attorneys that apply. Now, what I need y'all to do is tell me, I think y'all said Thursday night, y'all tell me the time when y'all want them here to interview. That'd be Thursday night.
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock, good? Yeah. Yeah, Mark, I was,
Can everybody meet?
yeah, everybody be here at 5. Y'all good with that?
You did.
That gives everybody time to get here.
Yeah, Mark and I was discussing before then, I said 30 minutes, Mark said, I think 15 minutes to do it. So, well, what I'll do is the 3, I'll start calling them all.
Well, we're not gonna interview for the building person.
Yes, we can get that next to you, right. We'll get that next, that's right. All right, do that, all right. This time we need to approve the minutes.
John brought us the corrected copy because there was an error on the copy, original copy, and he brought us new minutes. I approved the new minutes that he just brought us in here. I make a motion to approve them.
Okay.
A second.
Sue, a second, all in favor? All right, now the claims docket, y'all got any questions, John? Everybody good with the claims docket?
I make a motion to approve.
Mark, approve the claims docket, one second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, now this time, Art Dunning with Clearport Engineers is gonna tell us some things we're working on here.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Information I'm gonna hand out.
Thank you.
All right, so the front page is just kind of a board update we'll use as kind of agenda. I know there's a lot on there. We'll try to roll through this. The first thing that to bring up, that I'm gonna bring update on is our MCWI project. So as we've discussed, contract number 2 for which is the water treatment plant number 1 improvements is under contract and ongoing. So they've ordered equipment, and we're waiting on all the equipment to come in to minimize the time that plant's going to have to be down. The water meter replacement project, which is our contract number 3 under our MCWI project, has been advertised and will open bids on April 2nd. Any questions about that?
Yeah. These new meters, well, I know I've seen on TV where the city of Madison is putting in the new meters, and that has a leak detector in them. Do these have a leak detector?
So what you can do 2 different types of these automatic read meters. One would be what would be referred to as a radio read meter, which those meters are read through radio communication, and the only time that the readings on the meters get read is when somebody with the radio read equipment drives around, and the range on them is about a quarter mile. So if they get within a quarter mile of that meter, it'll accept a reading from that meter, it'll log it in this database, and then you'll be able to take that database and use for your billing software. Okay, so the only time you'll get a meter reading with a radio read system is when somebody deliberately goes out, drives with the equipment, and, you know, accepts these radio readings. So another option would be a cellular-based read system, which would be where it accepts data from the meters through a cellular signal, and it transmits that back to your home base, which could be here, or in the water department, wherever it needs to be. So the way that, if you have automatic leak detection, the way that that would work would be by comparing meter reading to meter reading. And so, under a radio read system, the only time you're gonna read the meters is most likely once a month, whenever you go to drive through and read the meters. So, you could detect a leak through that, but it would be no different than necessarily detecting a leak by traditionally reading the meters. I think where this automatic leak detection terminology would come from is if you had a cellular read system, and then it could get a daily meter reading, and it could, you know, it could show, well, it looks like here that there's more water usage than what's normal. It may send a you know, an error message and be able to, you know, alert someone if there is a leak on the homeowner side of the meter. So if we had planned on doing radio read.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if that needs to change, we need to know.
What's the difference in the price with the cell?
I don't know off the
Can we
top of my
find
head. Yeah,
out?
we can find out.
Tim, you got that
What's that?
price on the 3 meter read, 3 meters.
I ain't got it with me.
So there would be a price increase, you know, for doing cellular. This is just numbers that suppliers throw out, but I've heard people say that you usually don't, you might not get your investment money back on a system that's less than 1,500 meters if you go cellular read. But, you know, I don't, you know, y'all are right at that threshold, so I don't know, you know, it's really your decision, but that's something we gotta make a decision on, you know, very soon, because these documents are about to hit the streets, you know, we'll have to specify.
And we need to vote on that next board meeting. Like I said, if y'all ain't, Tim's interviewed all 3 applications. He can give you some insight into it. As a matter of fact, Tim and Steve on Clearwater, who handles our water.
I know it would cost more, but would it be offset by the gas we would save, the vehicle going around, the
The
people?
garbage truck is gonna be hauling the reading around, so it's not gonna cost any more fuel.
I think the cellular reading was about $60 higher than the other meter, if I remember.
Per meter?
I think so, I'm gonna double check.
Is there a higher, I mean, is it more monthly cost involved with the cellular?
The setup is, yeah.
And then would they be a cellular fee monthly?
Yep.
And then the guy that we met with the last time to make the presentation to the board, and he told Tim and I, said, that technology's not perfect yet. With the satellite system, he said they still working on it.
But, yeah, you guys should make an informed decision, and I can get some more information on that. Most of the systems that we work with are doing the radio read as opposed to the cellular. That doesn't mean that, you know.
I mean, I just had some questions about it if people could ask. and-
It's very good questions, and it's, you know, I would like for y'all to tell me what you prefer. So I can get some more information and, yeah, get with Tim and Steve and,
What do you do, we'll put in our package for 2 weeks from now.
we really need to make a decision.
You need to make, y'all, you want to go now?
It is April 2nd. I'm not saying you have to make a decision tonight, but we need to try to make a decision.
I want to vote on tonight.
So,
And Tim, or if y'all want to vote tonight, I'll let Tim give you his recommendation. Y'all want to vote tonight or wait for 2 weeks?
well, if we wait for 2 weeks to make a decision, I'll need to put the documents out on the street, as we call it, for contractors to look at, and include the radio read, because that's the way I have it set up. If you change your mind, we'll have to do an addendum, which is, you know, we can do, but, you know, we're kind of at that point where we need to get those documents out. So I can get more information tomorrow, and, we can
Okay,
circulate
we're
that.
meeting Thursday. Could you have, that we can look at, we can't vote, but we can look at it Thursday.
Sure.
The difference in the price of it.
Yeah, you bring
And how much the cellular fee would be per month,
Yep, I can get some info.
total difference.
Yep, no problem.
Because I mean, as much as we'd love to have them, it may be,
Out of reach.
sometimes you can't afford what you want.
Yep, I can do that, no problem.
You want me to have a salesman here for the meters?
Now, we had that third one, but now the first and second one, you just interviewed them. Y'all want him to ring the, they good.
We'll get some info on it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. All right. Is that all? Anything else on the meters? Okay, I'll get that started. So contract number 4 will be Lamar Road Sewer Extension, which we're working on. Gotta get some easements taken care of, environmental is underway. So that's in the works for the sewer extension. So the big item, so if you look, kind of the thing right behind the front page, we're still working on getting reimbursed for contract number 1. We had to do that under emergency procurement, and that's taking a little bit more review by MGQ to get everything squared away. One of the things that they have asked the city to do is to adopt a procurement policy for the MCWI project. And so they don't provide a blanket policy, but this is a blanket policy that we've used, that all the rural water systems are using for this same federal money, being administered in different ways. So I've taken this, I sent it to Mark last week, and I've set it up. It's ready for adoption if y'all are ready to adopt it. It's something that we have to do to move forward. So it basically just puts measures in place that y'all are going to abide by this CFR 200, this federal regulated, federal regulations for procurement, because these are federal funds.
You have, I make a recommendation that we move forward with it.
Sammy, Mark, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great.
All right, so next thing is the lagoon. I'll just give y'all a quick update. We completed the sonar survey to assess the sludge and sediment level in the lagoon. We got some extra testing from Bonner. Steve Woolmack's been, we've been working hand in hand on this. We have a preliminary plan for some improvements that could really help the lagoon. And so I won't get into all the weeds of that, but it would be a little bit different approach than what has been done, or what the plan might have been before. It would include some baffles, some dividing baffles, aeration, adding some aerators, doing potentially a bio unit that helps with ammonia. So if y'all would like, I can put together a defined scope and cost estimate, construction cost estimate for what those improvements would look like. And I think that would be our next step if that's something y'all want me to do.
Yeah.
And it would really help, it would, there's some sludge buildup in the lagoon. We still have 4.5 to 5 feet of usable depth in the lagoon. And so we wouldn't be touching the sludge. We'd be taking an approach where we try to aerate and try to treat some ammonia kind of in the final stages of the lagoon treatment process. So, I'll be glad to put together a cost estimate if that's what y'all would like to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to vote on it. Mark, you got the motion, go ahead and do that.
Second.
All right, one second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. So the paving project, I know we talked last time a little bit about that. I put at the end of this packet, I put together a document. It's a lot of information to digest, and I hope it's not too wordy. But I basically tried to define our engineering scope for what our services would look like for different levels of assistance with the paving project. I think y'all will probably have to, digest all that information a little bit, but as soon as y'all, and we can talk about it more now or later, but as soon as y'all decide, how y'all would like to move forward, whether, there's one of those scopes that meet y'all's interest, or, if you would rather us not be involved, that's completely y'all's decision. Y'all just let me know. We're glad to help. So, any questions on that right now? So just a quick update on the park project. Christian Carrico and I have met and we've discussed that, got a plan to move forward, getting some plans and documents put together where the park can be publicly bid, park and pickleball. And so we're working on that, hope to have a bid opening this summer. That playground equipment has a long lead time, so construction would most likely be the first part of 2025, getting started. Tim and I looked at a erosion issue beside some pipes on 11th Avenue, where the Big Creek goes under 11th Avenue. And I mentioned to Tim, and I know Patrick and I pursued this on a different location, and it wasn't eligible, but through the NRCS, it's called EWP, Emergency Watershed Program. So they have grant opportunities to help with erosion if it's threatening public infrastructure. And so I sent them this site, sent them some information, and they replied last week and said this would be an eligible site. So been in communication with them a little bit. This program, depending on how things set up, it's either a 80-20 match, so 80 grant, 20% local funds, or a 75-25. I haven't put together an estimate. I think, if I have to spitball, we're talking about $150,000, of construction. So 15 to 20% of that would have to be local match to be eligible for this program. If that's something y'all are interested in pursuing, then we can continue to pursue it. So this is
I think we need to do it because it's going to keep getting worse, right?
It's starting to run out in the street.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And if we can get, any help we can get, we need. Yes, pursue it.
All right, we'll keep moving forward. All right, last thing, and I didn't, this is not on there, but, so I talked with Mr. Charlie a little bit last week about the floodplain management ordinance that you guys adopted, and just talked through how we could assist with that. And so we got a good plan in place or are working on putting a plan in place for helping you guys formalize the process. That's the first thing that needs to happen for any new construction, where somebody comes in and says we're building a structure at this address. You go pull that address, you compare it to the floodplain map. You either say, well, this is in the floodplain or in proximity to the floodplain. We need to follow our floodplain ordinance. That would require getting a permit, getting an elevation certificate, and having all that on file. And so we'll set Mr. Charlie and his team up where they can follow those steps, and then we'll be glad to review any of those documents as needed, and just be some professional assistance as needed with that. So that would be anything regarding new construction near or in the floodplain. There's some existing structures that need addressing. And so that's something that we'll need to discuss further. We can help with that, but we'll need to put together a plan. And, it's a good bit that need to be addressed, and so that's something that we can certainly help with. Producing, they call it post elevation certificates, even though those structures some of them may have been there for 80, 100 years. If there's no documentation on file, FEMA is not happy about it, and they need to see that. And so we can work to rectify that, but we'll have to put a plan in place to do it. So new structures going forward, we'll have a plan for that. It'll become seamless. Everybody, have a good plan for what they need to do. The existing structures, we can help with those as well. So, and like I told Mr. Charlie, what we do with other cities and towns, like with new structures, as needed, y'all contact us. We'll review any documents, and we just do that on an hourly basis. So,
Hourly basis. Good.
okay. Any questions? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, now with Luana, here we go. Maintenance airport manager position. Have y'all came up with an hourly wage yet? Have not?
Depends on,
Depends on, okay. Hey, who's y'all tell me.
Joey.
No, Joey would be at the bottom where we come to, he's on, Joey would be on I. Yeah, that's where Joey would be on I.
Yeah, on the maintenance Air Force manager position, I think we're gonna discuss that Thursday.
Thursday.
I
That
thought y'all
ought to
wanted
be
to
discussed
interview.
Thursday, none of that be discussed
I
now.
don't wanna
'Cause
interview.
You can't set a pay until you interview the person and see their
Well, that's why I have my question.
resume.
You want to interview them Thursday?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm, that's
Yes.
right.
6 o'clock. Y'all want to do all of them, or you want to pick out 3?
No.
Do all of them?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll call
You got-
every one of them.
How many you got? You got 3 attorneys and what, 3?
You got
I think about 6 is it? How many's in y'all's packet, those, for the engine, I mean, survey, I mean, mine. I think it's just 4.
Oh, that's great.
4. So y'all, I'm gonna call the attorneys at 5 for 3 of them, and y'all may call the maintenance applicants
One,
at 6 for 4 of them, right?
two, oh, it's the same person.
4.
and everybody meet on Thursday,
Yeah.
Yes, there would be.
5 o'clock, right?
5 o'clock.
Okay. So I'd say just have them all.
Call all 4, Mark,
Have them
okay?
all here to
Yeah.
start.
Let's
at 5
interview everybody
o'clock.
and
We'll
Okay.
go
get the
through.
best
Wait
candidate.
for the attorney.
All right. Okay, good deal. Any more discussion y'all want to talk about Maine's Airport, or you just want to wait till you interview?
Maybe Thursday.
Okay. All right, Public Works team.
I'll give y'all a copy. On the YMCA building, before we get it roofed, we gotta get the facial work and all that changed out before we can roof it. Because right now, it's got a 1x2 drip edge around it, that's going to come off, facial's going to be replaced, and then we'll re-roof it. I got 1 quote for getting all that done. I don't know if y'all want to go with that one or you want me to get another. This one was 4780.
75.
4780.
Go ahead with it.
Yep.
And,
It needs to be done.
I got a sewer project going on off of Francis and First Avenue. It's in between the backside of the houses. There's supposed to be a right-of-way back there. Well, when they developed the homes, they took out the right-of-way and they put 1 fence down there. Now people's got buildings sitting on the sewer line, there's a 40-foot swimming pool sitting on top of the sewer line, and I gotta change 325 foot of it. So, and it's got oak trees growing all over it. So what I've come up with is I'd like to get that line bored instead of making people move everything they got. If y'all okay with that?
I mean, we don't really have much of that.
Yeah.
Don't have much option, you're right.
The line's right, it's a 4-inch line and it got 5 houses on it.
Yep.
Is the alley open or closed?
Closed. There ain't no alley.
I mean, is it on paper, is the alley open or is the alley closed?
Well, I have to find out.
The board would have to vote to close the alley, if that alley is closed.
Well, that's been there 60 years, so I don't know, I won't find that out. But other than that, I need to go into executive if y'all.
We did that at the end of, okay. All right, y'all any more questions for the team? More questions for the team? All right, Police Department matters, Shane.
Yes, board, this morning, Chamber of Commerce put on a breakfast where I was figuring I want to thank the board members that were able to show up for that. We truly enjoyed it. We were able to speak with several people and answer some questions. It was a good thing. Other than that, I don't have anything as far as police matters other than an executive session for personnel.
Okay. Y'all got any questions for Shane? All right, zoning, Penny.
I think Mark gave you the Magee Preservation Commission ordinance number 2. So what happened was we passed that ordinance and we established our commission, and we've been working really, really hard. And then we submitted our CLG application and we were declined because our ordinance did not match the template that they wanted us to use. So Mark looked at it, I looked at it, we sent it back to the Department of Archives and History, They weighed in on it, they gave us some feedback, I changed what they said, sent it back to Mark. We've been doing this little circle for a few months, and now it matches perfectly with what they want. It's their template, so we just put our names on it, and we, you know, there were some points of concern that Mark found that I understand totally the concern for, and that was about the authority of the commission to, in our view, it would be overstepping a little, well, a lot, it would be overstepping, so to revoke a contractor's license. And Mississippi Board of Contractors says that there are some cases where you could do that, and this is one of those cases, that if a contractor demolished a historic building or made giant mistakes on a historic building, then that could happen. But that is an extreme situation, and our board is organized, our commission is organized so that we don't make those decisions. We bring our recommendations to you guys. So if y'all wanted to do that, then you could do that. So that's what we changed on this. We revised this ordinance. The hope is that you will pass this ordinance. It will be either a new one or an amended one.
It'll be a new one, but it'll amend the prior one.
Replace.
This is what Mark handed out, we got.
Yeah, so it'll replace that other one, and then we'll resubmit our CLG application, and we'll cross our fingers and do that process again. So I know you haven't had a lot of time to read over it, but it's the same thing that you already adopted, except for that one thing that and I made a few typos that last time, so I'm positive Mark caught all those. He's an awesome proofreader. Well, they caught them at Mississippi Department of Archives, and I was surprised, but yeah, they did. So if y'all want to take a minute and look at that, and we can adopt that, if you're so inclined, or look at it and ask me any questions you have, I'm happy to answer them.
What section specifically is that revision in?
What's the question?
The revision that you made to it, what section is that in?
I don't know, I don't have it in front of me. Mark, do you see that? I think it was section 10 or 11. No, it wasn't 10.
And that may not be the only thing. I think there were some other sections that were just verbose that we trimmed down a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, as a practical matter. But that wasn't going to be the only difference. But I can't,
It
or
was,
nor people can say with certainty, you know, a red line difference between this draft and our prior. But I know that was one thing that was a hot topic of discussion between us.
it was really long. Section 4 is the powers of the commission, and so I would assume that it would be in there. It's review, consider, might not be in there. Let me look for it. It's toward the end, wasn't it, Mark?
Give me a second.
I thought it was 10 and 11, but it is not. Demolition by neglect.
It's going to be section 15 of XB, enforcement and penalties.
Okay.
There's no page numbers on it, but just.
Okay,
you have to get
section
to the wrong
15.
intervals. And it'll be subsection A5, subsection A5.
Which is the criminal penalty.
Well, and what it implies is that if the board can by ordinance designate buildings, areas as historic areas, and then once that happens, and correct me if I'm wrong, Penny, my understanding is work to be done on those buildings in those areas has to get approval by your committee before not your committee, but the Preservation Commission.
Right.
Before that work can proceed.
Right.
And that's the certificate of appropriateness that it has to have.
And we would have to follow the standards for interior, from the Department of the Interior for Historic Preservation. We have to follow those guidelines. So that's actually that's the stage where we are right now with the Old Magee Elementary, because it's designated as a landmark. So we can't just go in there, even though we desperately need a roof. We can't just go put a roof. Even though Strength Roofing wants to come put a roof, and we would love to have a roof, but we can't do that because it's a landmark. So we have to submit that quote, which we have, to the Mississippi Department of Archives, and then they have to say yes or no based on the scope of work that will be done and how it will affect the preservation of the building. And they have a list of preferred contractors who have done historic work like that. So they might say, well, we want it done, but not by this company because they don't do historic work. So it's that kind of situation that could occur and actually is occurring right now. So it's just that they, once it's designated, like the old Magee Elementary is, we can't just go in there and do whatever we want to do. We have to now commit to preserve it. So that's what this ordinance kind of, that part is binding us to.
Before we vote on this, Shane, what you and I discussed here, is this new ordinance gonna affect it?
I do not think so.
Let me tell y'all, I have a private business calling me yesterday. He's over here on First Street by the Methodist Church. He said that, we're probably gonna buy it. And he said, we've had our contractor look and said the house is in too bad shape to be remodeled. And they wanted, and he said, can we tear it down, build a new building? And, it's in the Horse Historical Society, so I called Shane. I said, Shane, check on this. And so my question is this new ordinance gonna affect that situation, Laura?
No,
Depend? Okay.
it's not designated, so it.
He told me it was historical.
No, the house, it's in the district.
It's in the district.
That resource is
Good.
not
All
a
right.
designated resource. Yeah, it's just
Just
in
wanna make
this.
sure y'all knew, and this, when people are doing it, this is gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good, y'all. All right, y'all wanna vote on this
I
tonight?
tell you what, let's take this under advisement for the next board meeting. Will that be okay?
Sure, yeah, you have time to read it. I mean, like we
Just
said,
study it a little bit.
if you took the one that you already passed and compared to this, you'd be hard pressed to find any difference, but it is smart to look at it and think about it, so I appreciate your taking that time. And as
Yeah,
I
let's
said, if
take
you
it
have any
with you.
questions, just ask away. I feel like I should have it memorized by now after I've looked at it so much. So I appreciate Mark, thank you for getting that together for us. All right, the next thing I have is just a kind of a report of last night. A lot of us feel like we're having deja vu because we were here last night. So I want to thank you, board members and mayor, for coming to our first town hall meeting last night. We did not have a giant crowd, but it was a good crowd. And we got a lot done, and we had a lot of positive news from that, so that's great. And then that was Ward 1, and some of the people who came from Ward 1 had not met their alderman yet, and that was very refreshing to me. I thought Mark knew everybody, and I thought everybody knew Mark, but apparently they don't. So that was helpful. They knew of him, but then they shook his hand, so that was good. And Mark did a great job. He's kind of set the standard for y'all going forward, because he came prepared with a little presentation about Ward 1, just saying. So next Monday night will be Ward 2, and I know that Luana's gonna razzle dazzle everybody and have a full house. I know she will. And then Ward 3, that'll be March 18th, and Ward 4 will be March 25th. But they are all open to the public, and we want as many people to come as possible. Like I said, it was real positive. Everybody had a
lot of
time.
good questions.
A lot of good questions, and we got a lot of good information out there. So that was a good time. So of course, please come. The next thing that I have for you, I want to show you. It's I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. So I told you at the property maintenance app that's done. It's built for us, and I don't know that Shane loves it as much as I do, but I love it. It is a great tool that CMPDD built for us, and it works great.
I'll give him mine.
Okay, so this is just an example of one that's printed out. That is a complete case from beginning to end. So this case is closed. And there was a trailer that had been sitting there on the railroad track for I don't even know how many years. And the people who bought the land, it wasn't their trailer. The trailer was already there when they bought it. So that's how long it had been there. And there was a shed that was falling down. And Karen and I went, Charlie and I went, maybe Shane and I went, everybody went, and it's falling down. There were animals coming in and out, and definitely humans coming in and out of the shed. So it was a danger, and it was ugly, and so we just contacted those people who owned the land, the property owners, and said, hey, this is what needs to happen. We went back and forth a little bit. We established that it was their responsibility. They hired someone to contract that out, and they demolished it. So it's gone now.
Great.
No expense to the city. And that's just one case. I wish I could say that they all turn out happy endings like that. They don't, but we definitely are working on it. And I also wanted you to see how transparent that app is. You can see when it started, you can see the pictures, you can see when it was finished, you can see the contacts that we had. I probably didn't put the emails from Hollis Boyce in there, but I can. I have all of those. That's what I should have put in there, because there's a place for supplemental documents or something like that. Anyway, so that was a success, and I was happy about that. Now, tomorrow, next thing on my agenda is tomorrow, Charlie and I will attend the NWS Emergency Managers Workshop in Rankin County, and we will be, I know it will be not anything new to him, but it will be to me, and I'm looking forward to learning about that. And so I'll come in first to work, and then we'll go over there to the workshop, and then, then we'll come back. So I hope to be able to report all kinds of good stuff to you that I learned about that by our next meeting. We have zoning board zoning board hearings next Tuesday night at this time, so we have 2 hearings. And I think I've told y'all about this before. Jason Skinner has bought a piece of land from Mr. Bruce Lewis, and he's asking for it to be rezoned so he can put his business there. And then Daniel Ferguson's building down here on Main, he's asking for conditional use to build apartments. We have gone to see the land where Mr. Skinner wants to have his business, and I talked with him and with Mr. Lewis that day, and we had an appointment to go look at, well, Charlie has seen Ms. Ferguson's, right? You've seen his building inside?
I haven't seen it inside. I've gone over details with him. You talking about the remodel down there?
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna go, we had an appointment to go, but he kind of forgot and got busy, so we're gonna go definitely see that before our zoning board hearing. Everything is
Give us
Yeah.
an update on that.
Yeah.
On Ferguson.
on that one on
Where
Main
is it,
Street.
on the corner?
Yeah, it's next to,
The old Jitney Jungle?
the way he tells us it's going to be half, is this correct, Charlie, half retail and half
Right.
residential?
If you draw a rectangle, half of it on the side closest to City Hall will be some commercial business, and the half closest to the railroad tracks will be residential.
What's in the
When I say
building? How many?
residential, I mean it's more of a transient
How many
type.
residential?
Transient type, where they want a temporary, for the, like soccer games and things that go on here, tournaments and stuff. It's just temporary things where people can rent and come in and do
Like an air.
Like an Airbnb.
Right, right.
The old Jitney Jungle thing on the corner.
It's limited to 3. The preliminary.
Going to Music City?
It's below Music City. I'm gonna tell you, that's where
Okay,
Tina
Jim.
had a garage shop. That was my mother's building. I said,
Big
okay.
studio was.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's limited to 3 bedrooms at the moment and 2 all-use rooms in there on that I forgot what the name, Verbo, is that what he called it?
He wants to advertise it on Verbo, but it'll be like an Airbnb.
Right.
It'll be like that, a rooming house according to
It's
our.
just a
Right.
website you
It's
listed
not a
on.
rooming house. It is a rooming house.
He wants to make it a rooming house. Like, not a place where people live, but like, that's how our ordinance defines Airbnb places. So people can rent it on a temporary basis.
Will you have any control over who it's rented to without strictly be him? Do we say anything about?
Oh, yeah, so if they're going to, it'll be just like when we went through the other situation with the other Airbnb. Part of what we were experiencing is that a person who was the property owner was not following the rules of the platform that he agreed to follow, or our city rules. So, yeah, of course, and our zoning board will also definitely, go over that with him, that it is a conditional use. And part of that conditions is you have to obey all of our, and even in our ordinance it says, you're not exempt from following our noise ordinance, our alcohol ordinance, any of our ordinances. Yeah, so, yeah, I understand the concerns, and I'm sure that will come up at our hearing. But he's preparing, and we are preparing as well. Our board will be prepared. I'm gonna send them a packet, and they'll have everything that they need to make a good decision or good recommendation, or to ask good questions next Tuesday night. And of course, if you have any concerns between now and then, please, feel free to voice those. All right, my last thing is that at our at our town hall meeting last night, our interns, who couldn't be here tonight, but they were so sad. You should have seen them crying. They're like, oh, I can't come. They went over the Adopt a Street program that we're going to do on Saturday, and it was really great timing, and I just love the fact that Christian Carrico came to support us in our town hall meeting, and he got up and talked about Keep Magee Beautiful and is partnering with us on this cleanup day. So it's not all the streets that need to be cleaned up, obviously, but we took pains to think about in each ward some of the streets that need to be cleaned up. And I think we have only one street that's not been adopted yet, and that's Fifth Avenue from northeast to southeast. The one that runs right down by the school, by the high school, all the way up to the Piggly Wiggly. But I'm confident that someone will take care of that between now and then. Hint, hint. What we did find last night, we got some good recommendations about safety vests and safety gloves. So I've found some of those, and I'm hopeful that we can get those all organized by then. And we'll have a bunch of youngins all over the city cleaning up on Saturday.
Good, because I had a question about the gloves and the vests, make sure we're going to have them before Saturday.
Yeah, I found some. Charlie and I might have to stop by a bigger Walmart tomorrow.
Do you have any extra vests over there?
They all dirty and you wouldn't want to use them.
And then we talked about gloves last night.
I got some gloves.
Yeah, you can order some extra gloves.
Some good gloves.
Yeah.
I got the best gloves you want.
Yeah.
Good protective rubber coated gloves.
Well, we don't want to, if they're like 25, 50 bucks a pair, we don't want to use those.
You paid for them, didn't you?
Okay, good point. I thought you were going to loan it to me. Never mind. Yes, you're right. The sky's the limit. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you, board.
Kenny, I have one question.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
On these businesses with the second notice that have not paid their privilege license, have you contacted all the people on this list?
Yes.
They're just not,
Yeah, they're just not.
Not paying.
they're not compliant.
What are their options?
compliant. Well, I mean, there are some options, but, you know, I'm not sure that the options that are available to us would be the ones that we would want to take, because there's an amount of alienation that would occur if we put our foot down too hard, you know? And we don't want to hurt our businesses. We do want to help our businesses. And there are some names that are on that list that I think that if I gave them another call tomorrow, that they would say, oh my goodness, I just forgot. But some of them just won't, because we've written, we've called, we've personally visited. And they still just say, okay.
What is?
It's kind of like property cleanup, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot like that.
So what can you do? I mean, you can fine them as it's later, or
Yeah, they're getting late fees.
late fees on it?
I mean, it accumulates if you don't
So
pay.
does it have any end to that?
I mean, we can take action as a city. We do have the ability to shut them down. It is a privilege to,
They've had 6 months, I mean.
some of them are past years. Some of them go back to 2020, 2019. So,
Well, I think everybody needs to play by the rules.
Yeah, everybody needs to follow the same
In my
rules.
opinion, I mean, that's just,
They gotta pay,
you know,
that's
that's
just it.
regardless.
yeah. Well, we're still working on that list, and like I said, some of them, so there's one on there that just moved from point A to point B, so that business just moved over to close to the Diggs place. All of the other paperwork for that business is in order, so that's probably been an oversight. Everything else is good. So I feel if I called that person, that could be immediately fixed. So that's a pretty short list compared to what it
Yeah,
was
well,
before.
Yeah,
I would reach out to them again, and then next board meeting, give us another list and
Sure.
see who has not
Sure thing.
complied.
Maybe put final notice or something on there. Doesn't ring it.
Well, and we can do some research about some steps that can be taken without too much repercussion.
because as Mark said, we want everybody to follow the same rules.
Sure, for sure, yep.
No.
All right, I'll do that.
Being on this trailer, we demolished.
Yep.
Who was the contractor?
Well, there was a woman named Hollis Boyce who was emailing me back and forth, and she
Yeah.
worked with Kara.
Yeah. See, I've been
I
talking to
think-
Shane last 2 days, what concerned me, because I know the business, they've hauled off the metal first, which they can sell. And there's nothing else they can sell there, so we need to stay on top and make sure they get cleaned up.
I think Bruce did it, Mr. Bruce
No, he
Lewis.
didn't, he called me, he's the one that called me, said, are they certified to do work at Magee? He called me, the first one to call me.
Isn't that who,
Son.
we were told Bruce Lewis was, turning the stuff away from the demolition, isn't that true?
So Bruce,
From the trailer. that-
Shane's been keeping an eye on it, because I call him every day, he said, I can't catch him there, the
What's
skid
left?
steer's still there.
what's left is the frame.
Frame, that's the only thing left they can sell. The rest of it, they just got to haul off. So I hope they don't leave us with a messy lot, and they didn't haul off everything they can sell.
Yeah, I saw it today.
Let's see here. All right, Parks and Rec, Jimmy.
How y'all doing? I've only got a couple of things. We finally got some estimates on the, fixing the concession stand window. I got 3. 2 of them are within $7 of each other, $4,493 and $4,500. Gonna get with Penny tomorrow and make sure both are certified to do work here in Magee. The other one was $25,000. I really don't think he really wanted to do it. So
He may have put an extra 0 in it, Jimmy.
I still don't think he wanted to do it. So, that's what we got, so I'm gonna check on these 2, and then, since they're both under $5,000, I'll have that work started on the process.
Okay.
The next thing is, the scoreboards. I know we talked about getting new controllers, or we talked about getting the conversion thing. I think we ought to get the conversion thing, go ahead and do it, so everybody can have, because they still complain in there. I try to give them the controller, we don't want the controller, so I don't know what my answers are. But either we're gonna need 4 new controllers, which is gonna cost us about $2,000, or convert them, and then everybody will have access to be able to run the school.
So we're looking at $16,000?
$16,000.
Is that something that can be took out of the,
Yes. The other thing is, we had a great weekend. 52 teams came here and kicked us all over the place. It was a good weekend. No major issues at the park. Couple of toilets here and there, but that many people is expected at times.
how many people you think you had in the park Saturday?
I think he said he had around 1,400, which paid.
You probably had that many that didn't pay.
And then you probably had, you could figure 52 teams, about 14 on each team with coaches and players, maybe 15, so you're looking at about another 750, I'd say 2,100. And it was a great day. The businesses around here called me, said Kyle said his people got picked up, slammed, and put back down at lunch on Sunday. He said the church crowd hit him, and he said the ball crowd hit him. He said, I don't know which hit him harder. The folks from the church are.
Yeah, y'all, I called Jimmy yesterday, I said, I talked to 3 restaurant owners, and they said, get a schedule to them. They were all, everybody.
So, I mean, it's just, we did tremendous.
They was in the restaurant season. I know we went to Jose's Saturday night and counting ballers.
Mhm. Cannonballers of it.
They was all in there, and they 12 sitting at one table.
Also, if you want to see something even more tonight, last night we got rained out, but tonight's the first night of practice. I've been getting texts and everything. while I'm sitting
Already know
back
where the
here.
field's at.
Now, look, they own the field. I told them, stay on the turf. But they are there. They did not care if they just had to get just on the turf as much as it rained today. But they're happy. They're out there. They're in the cages and everything. You want to see a crowd, go out there right now, because I can tell you, there's a crowd out there. Daniel's out there holding down the fort right now. Guys, unless it's an emergency, and you need me here, probably for the next month or two, it's gonna be hard for me to be here with,
You didn't touch, anything you got, you didn't touch with one of us, you know. And
I mean, if y'all need me, and it's, I mean, you need an emergency, just call me. I mean, please,
Go back
because
to
it's
the
gonna be,
controllers.
it's gonna be hard here next week and everything, but I wanted to come in. Had a great weekend. This weekend, girls softball will be in town. I think it's around 24 teams. He went from 8 teams yesterday to 24 teams today because of the rain that looks like it's gonna move in for the weekend. They were supposed to play in Hattiesburg on some fields. They're coming to Magee now. So we'll have about 24. I think we're gonna have a weekend off. Then we're looking at about 52 again last week, 22nd, 23rd of March.
Go back to your controllers. How many is that?
It's 4 controllers that I need to replace,
So there-
and they're about $500 a piece. But if we don't replace it, if we go to converting the scoreboards over where we can all do it on our phone now, it's gonna be about $16,000, but we won't need controllers anymore.
And you said this, we can cover out of your department.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion with that.
So,
All right, Sue, want to say all?
To do the conversion?
Uh,
All right, we'll get Datronics on it right
keep
away.
going.
Yes, sir. If anything else, guys, it's just gonna be busy.
I talked to you yesterday, didn't talk to you today, and I talked to Tim. We do have our tennis court lights up, don't we?
Yes.
Okay. And you said the owner ain't coming, he don't need to see the picture you got.
No, you
He don't
don't
need
need,
to
you
see
don't
that.
need to see the picture.
No, that's right.
Cause I said, there ain't no way they'd ever get me up
We
there.
subcontracted it out to them, you know?
I know, but I said, ain't no way they'd get me up there.
Yes, that's it.
on the tennis courts, can we get some street lights where it's
Got
parking?
you, got
that
you
guys
covered.
were for?
I'm gonna forward it to you.
Cause it's so
Yeah.
dark.
Oh, yeah, I didn't got it, I talked to the lady by email, I talked to her today.
It'll cut
They're on
down on that
Magee, yeah.
mischief over there.
Yeah, that's right, you're right, I'll forward you that email I sent her.
Thanks.
All right, Jimmy, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Animal control, Benny.
Mine is gonna be short tonight. There's 4 ordinances served. I'm still getting complaints on that address across from the hospital about them 4 labs. I was called out by, 2 of the police officers, 111 3rd Street Northeast. Dog was deceased when I got there. Mr. Tim called me out about a, dog running up on Main Street. I located the owner. Dog's locked back up. Other evening, I was called by Magee PD dispatch that the Simpson County Sheriff was calling me out for assistance in their animal control. The little critter was apprehended. Only thing else I got, I'm gonna let y'all make the decision on the pound. You know you're not gonna get rid of it. It's there. I don't know how much I done spent on bleach. I'm coming down there sometime weekend, steady saturating it over and over again. Do y'all want to try to do, I hate to word it like this, y'all wanna try to do a trial run? Now, with that being said, I do have, because Mr. Tim asked me to put this up, I do have a kennel that was bought, by Deputy Grubbs. That is up only for attack dogs or nuisance dogs. I do have the other one I can set up too, if we can find a place up there to put it up. But still, that's the only cleanest ground I got.
Well, Benny, I'm gonna be honest with you. As someone that used to raise dogs and have dogs, I would hate for you to pick up somebody's dog that got out and then carry it to the pound and it come down with heartburn.
We've done had 2 employees take it home and kill their dogs already.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. We need to move it.
Well, there's gotta be somewhere in the city of Magee, Mayor, you can help me.
Don't the city have,
Don't we have something over here by the old co-op?
satellite?
We got a deal, Martin and I discussed it, whoever new attorney is, I think I'm disability. Because we'll have to, we've got a lease right now, but we need to issue a demand letter on some payments.
You know, if we can find a
Be
spot.
perfect, Mark. This place is
and
perfect.
at least we can pour some, concrete slabs and put some kennels on it, you know, just a
Yeah.
temporary.
Yeah, this build already got a slab, everything, but,
A few months ago, back in 23, that case I had over on, next to Alderman Brown, me and him was talking briefly when I thought we was gonna try to go to McNair Springs. It was brought up about the goat patch. I don't know if Mr. Brown remembers a short conversation. If that all fails, then we'll go, what about, Mr. Tim, he got saying this too, what about the goat patches go round up? That's what we call it, the goat patch.
yeah, that's fine.
But how far is that from like a resident? Is it somebody's backyard?
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be another problem.
You wouldn't, Mr. Tim.
I wouldn't bring one in my backyard.
That leaves back door?
Yeah.
50, well, that's out of the question.
Yeah.
Sammy, I've got it, landowner down Ward 3, that owns some land I talked to him about, and he said he would donate the land for a tax file, but we'd have to do water, water and power down there.
Well, if we got a building that the city owns, that we can possibly
Yeah.
get within the next couple of weeks,
Yeah.
we need to
That's
pursue
easy.
That's
that.
where I was going.
That's the
when I
easiest
brought
fix.
that up.
That's the
We need
easiest
to
fix.
pursue that real
Okay.
fast, like.
I'll do that.
This animal control is not going away, it's gonna get worse the
Yeah.
longer we let it go.
I mean, we don't have as many dogs. You've done a great job, but I just hate to see, I would hate to see somebody's personal dog get out, you pick them up and put them in there, and then they come pick them back up, and they come down, how far below dying
Yeah.
from us.
We done had 2 cases, I forgot about that, we told about that.
So,
But I'm still out and about, I'm still writing tickets. If I catch them running, you don't get a ticket. That's the only way I can do that, then you let the judge handle it from there. But that's all I've got, unless y'all got something else for me.
Y'all discussed that this building, if y'all want to, with the new attorney. There's people that leased it, they're in arrears some money, but, there's not that much. We may need to just tell them that they got to vacate the building, so we need
Is
it.
there
That's your
stuff in the
answer?
building?
Don?
Is there stuff in the building?
Yeah, and I rode by there, they use it. They
I mean,
use
are
it.
you talking about the church uses it, or the people that are supposedly renting it that are not paying?
They're the same ones. They got the big one and the little
So
one.
the city's not getting any pay on
They're
it.
delinquent.
Oh,
We need to get them
Well, we're
out.
putting them out.
Yeah,
Get 'em out of there.
yeah, the actual.
That's a
yeah.
great building.
Oh, it's a great building. It's a great,
Easy.
yeah. You know what I'm talking
Start
about?
it now.
Yeah.
we'll have you back in the.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Hey, Sue has a motion.
I make a motion that we move forward on that building
Okay.
immediately.
All right,
Whatever
okay.
it takes.
Second.
All right, Sue?
You in a position to support calls or do away with the lease?
Mark?
I'll
talk to you about it.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's all right, y'all want to vote on that, Sue, one? All in favor? Sue, then, okay. All right. Yeah. All right, my friend Joe McNulty, come on up.
Good to see you folks tonight. I'll give you a little report about what's been going on. The first thing I want to share with you is that I have Susie Bourne and Dusty Drennan here with us tonight. And I'm here to tell you that Dusty accepted the interim manager's position after I consulted with him, after you guys told me what was going on with it. He's accepted it. And I think before I go any further, I'd just like him to give you an update of what's been going on down there. I only have a couple other items after that, but I wanted Dusty to share it with you while he's here. Want to come up, Dusty, and tell him what's going on?
So over the last couple of weeks,
We've been doing basically maintenance, catching up on things that's either broke or not working. We found a gate at the back of the property on the south end that had been tampered with, and so I repaired the hinge. It was basically tampered with where it looked like somebody could make access to that end of the property by lifting the gate off of the bottom hinge. So I made that repair. We've cut the grass once in the safety zone and around the building. It's taken about 6 hours, and I still didn't get by the house and all the weed eating done. So it's going to be grass cutting just for our part, not the rest of the field is going to take 6 to 8 hours. We've done a full maintenance on the lawnmower. Did a service maintenance, did a full maintenance on it. Oil, fuel filter, air filter, and all that. It all needed changes, so I did that. It only had one set of blades, so I got a second set of blades so that I could sharpen at the house. And so when I go, because each time it gets cut, it's going to need another set of blades to be cutting a solid 6 hours. So the gate, there were some trees growing up in the new hangar and around the Pappy Light transformer box. I went out there and cut those down and got rid of those. It was the one by the hangar was starting to grow, the roots were starting to grow under the asphalt and up under the concrete into the hangar, starting to cause damage. So I removed that tree. And several trees around the Pappy Light transformer box. I've sprayed, I did one spraying, and then yesterday and today, I went out and lowered the mower deck as low as I could get to get the grass as low as I could get on the tarmac and the taxi area. And I plan on spraying it when it dries up Thursday or Friday, trying to get all that grass off. Tim's been a great help, y'all. It's everything I've asked him. He's put me on in line to get to it. He's came out and hauled off some trash that was piled up. He's got a plan to get the rest of the trash in the back for me out from the along the fence line and some that's stack piled up in the back. He actually attempted to bring the street brush sweeper out. We thought that may pull the grass out of the cracks, and it would be a quick fix to get all that grass out. But it did not work, so we're trying to kill the grass now. Once it's dead, we feel like that's going to work. I found a leak while I'm mowing, while I was cutting the grass. Tim came out like the next day and fixed the leak. Other than that, we've just been doing just our sumps. And we've got the water down to about a tablespoon that I'm pulling off of it each day that I sump. Make sure that's it. I did remove I mentioned y'all before that the exhaust fan in the vault was down. I took it, I tested it. It was the motor. I took it to Tim because I didn't know where we bought those type of devices from. And he's taking it, and the blade was bent, so he's getting that for me. Should be coming in next week or so. We'll get that back in. Temperature's about to rise, so we really need to get that back in there before it gets hot. Other than that, the only thing is we got. I contacted QT Pod. They've sent us some updated test cards for us to do our fuel testing with. Contacted Rebel Services. They will be down this week to pull our fuel samples and do our testing on both fuels. I received the kits end of last week. And I called them. They said they'd put me on this week. But they'll come and pull those tests, and then we're going to be somewhere, however long it takes to get that. Then we'll be, if they can recertify the fuel, we'll be ready to sell.
What about the debris out in the fuel?
So it's clear enough. And like I said, in the bottom is we had the sump pump that I took and repaired that they took off it. Anyways, Susie placed it on the Jet A tank, and I've been sumping the Jet A tank too, and I found no water. And if I've had any water, it's been one drop, and it's probably due to condensation and rain because it's been kind of moist.
When you get cold and hot.
Down, but several of the times I've done it, there's no water. And then I think today there was one drop. I mean, when I mean a drop, I mean just one
Okay, are
truck.
they gonna test it also? You gonna
Yes, sir,
test
we,
the Jet A?
we call for a test for both. And,
Right.
Also, I found there's an invert, gauge on top of the tank. It was cracked, so they're supposed to repair that while they're here. And also told them to check the manhole gasket, just to make sure that it's not where we get some of our water from. And so they're gonna check that, and they're gonna bring enough material to redo that gasket.
And they did a tank inspection on the aviation fuel, didn't they? When we was out there that day.
That's correct.
Have we done one on the Jet A?
They'll do one when they come.
Okay.
And pull that sample up. They're gonna do one then. Yep. So, but I haven't received that report yet, and it may have came in I don't know if they sent it to City Hall, but I hadn't received that report. But I know he mentioned out there that once we got the fuel sold down to about 300 gallons, that we would need to have it cleaned.
Yeah.
That the inspection did call for a cleaning. So, any more questions?
Any more questions? Joey, you got anything?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Dusty. So, I spoke with Mark today, and he's gonna take up something now, if you'd like to go ahead and do that.
Sure. What Joey brought to my attention, I'm glad he did, was the ordinance that we adopted creating the airport board. There was a section of our revision that we discussed that didn't make it into that final draft. It mainly, that's located in section 2 for composition, I believe. The draft that we had printed as the final and executed was, that read, the airport board shall consist of 7 citizens of the city who are resident of Simpson County. And that is contra to what the discussion was in that meeting. And what I presented is a corrected version of that ordinance that mirrors our discussion that the board had on this ordinance and its composition. The airport board shall consist of 7 members appointed by the board residing in or owning property or business in Simpson County, Mississippi. And I think that's what we kind of go just a hair to, expand our scope of potential board members and allow for more participation there. So that's the only correction that was made in this. Again, it'll amend and repeal that prior version and then replace the prior version. But that was the only change in the two. And it's right for adoption if the board so pleases.
I mean, we already adopted the other, and this was something that needs to be corrected. So I make a
Correct.
motion that we approve.
Did Sammy motion for the correction? Or second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much, board. Possibly the last thing, but we need an RFP for the hay and the grass that's not in the safe area. I think we talked about, maybe the last time I was here, that we had some folks that were interested in getting the hay, getting it out of the way and keeping it up, and we felt like that it needed to be an RFP out there, so anybody that wanted to bid on it, we'd have something that we could bring back to you and that you could make a decision on. So it's raining, the sun's gonna come out and that stuff's gonna start growing, so we need to move on getting the hay cut sooner than later. So however you go about getting an RFP out for that, I'd like for you to go ahead and do that so that we can.
But after I talked to you, I looked, and we're not the first small airport to do this. So I found several RFPs where we won't have to reinvent the wheel there, and I'll share those with John.
All right. So I don't know what needs to happen, whether you need to make a motion or anything, but whatever.
We'll get it drafted up.
Grass is going to start growing pretty.
Yes. We won't be able to see the runway. All the work we've done, they can't land. Our last meeting was the 27th, and we intend to meet on the 26th of March. After this month and maybe April, we're going to just give you guys an updated report once a month. I don't know that it's necessary for us to be here. We'll have a full-time person, and unless you tell us different, we intend to be involved with that person to keep the airport going and to make it better. So unless something of emergency happens, we will give you an update once a month after our meeting, and we'll go from there. And that's my report, unless you've got a question for me.
No, I got a comment, I don't think that's got to talk about. On that RFP, we need to, whoever we go with, get these bids. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's a 3-year contract, because whoever gets it, they don't want section hire and put fertilizer out there with a chance of us pulling the lease out in under a year. They ain't gonna have an investment. I'm pretty much saying that right, Dustin?
Yeah, well, some of them is saying they didn't want to get a bid and put like level the ground and fertilize and reseed and replant, and then after that year goes by, then it's taken away from them.
I know most of them leasing property for cattle or hay, they get 3, 5, or 10-year leases.
Whoever we hire to do that, I don't see it be a problem, you know, on the 3
Okay, y'all ain't got no problem with that.
I don't see it be a problem.
Yeah.
That's my report. Thank you,
Okay.
thank you very
Thanks,
much.
gentlemen.
And just behind him, I went ahead and drafted up a publication for that amended ordinance. It's behind, I gave y'all 4 documents, and it's one of those 4, but it's a publication for that amended airport ordinance that will need to run in the paper. Also, I've got a publication there for the flood damage prevention ordinance that we adopted last meeting. So, yeah, we'll do a separate motion for each of those.
Which one you want to do first?
Let's do the airport.
I'll make the motion.
Sammy? Mark, second, all in favor? All right, John, you get this? Okay.
And the other one was gonna be the flood damage prevention ordinance newspaper publication.
Make a motion.
Mark,
Second.
Sammy, second, all in favor? Okay. That's all, okay, building inspector matters. Kayla?
I changed my hair so y'all couldn't tell I'm hair. First of all, thank you for the job well done. We appreciate you. You've earned our respect. If I ever need your services, you've earned my business. For you all, I want to steal Kara's thunder. I just want to give you a brief update. There's been several residential properties that we are guiding to go in right now. One developer in particular has numerous properties that he's ready to start on. But several individuals that are going up. We've discussed a couple of building projects with respect we brought to your attention a while ago. One is a perspective thing. He's just looking at his options for that building. Got the China buffet open and rolling again. There are still some improvements being made to that complex safety-wise, but otherwise it's rocking and rolling, ready to accept vendors into vacancies there. And several remodels that are going on. One of the things that I will highlight that I want to leave Penny out. Penny, Carol, myself, and Buck and Shane, we all take part in it. We started establishing an ability to go in and make safety evaluations at people's request. They request us to come into their domain. We can make safety evaluations for them inside their domiciles. That started and that seems to have taken off really well, and I think we'll have good reports for y'all in the future on that. So with that said, I'll leave that. If you have
Kara called today and she met with the people on the furniture this past Friday, got all the new specs, everything. They're supposed to be getting her a completed quote as soon as possible, for where maybe at the next board meeting we can do something, approve it or whatever, discuss it. But she will have everything that she needs for that.
And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention she had to be out of town tonight, so that's why I'm filling in her. But anyway, do you have any questions?
I do, about the civic center. We had our little report when y'all inspected it. Has anything been done over there to correct those problems?
I'm not aware of anything that's in the process. I'll check with her and we'll give y'all a better report next time. So we've got a list on several properties that we have, but I'm not aware of specifics.
I just don't want that to get
The one
because it looks bad.
Tim and I can do it. I know we fixed the refrigerator.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the specifics.
There's a piece of cabinets that need replacing.
the water
And then,
faucet,
and that,
paint,
yeah.
ceiling tiles.
Any other questions?
Make sure we don't forget.
Thank y'all.
Code enforcement, Shane.
Board, I don't have a whole lot. The publications in the paper for the building across the street here run this week and next week. Bids will close on that next Friday. All of them are sealed, comes to John here at City Hall, and I'll be able to open them at the next board meeting for that. The Second Avenue, second right over here by the visitor side of the football field, that lot's been started being cleaned up. The gentleman's still got to come back and finish a little bit due to the weather. He's kind of pushed him back a little bit, but I have been in contact with him. He's going to be back in town this week to finish that property. On 11th over here, the last property we dealt, that y'all voted on, we had the hearing on. The cleanup on it'll start next week. I've been back and forth with the people, the tenants that were there. They're trying to get more of their stuff out of it. They come today and ask could they have through the weekend. Today was the original day, but they did come to me in person and ask that they, because of the weather and just the amount of stuff they had in there, they're trying to get it out. So I give them that a little bit, and the next week they'll start the demo on it, so that property will be cleaned up. The other thing is, we've been discussing, board, I know it's been a something for y'all, is and Tim's guys are the ones, garbage and limb debris, or just debris in general that we're going through on the apartments and other places in town. I kind of looked at it and I told y'all I would bring something back, and I've kind of talked with the mayor and stuff on a couple of things and a few of y'all, and I've been back and forth with Miss Libby and Tim. The best scenario for it, I think we're looking at, and Miss Libby can elaborate a little more because she looks at the cost on that, whether it's residential or commercial, varies on the size of the business per se. We're looking right now at, I think it's $13, Ms. Libby, on residential a month that people were paying for garbage, and our commercial can range anywhere from a few dollars up to $200 a month. I think the best scenario, and I believe we might probably need to have a workshop on this to really get it ironed out, to be able to advertise what it is Board is basically going to be kind of like our water. We probably need to look at across the board a charge, whether we've got a dumpster or not, because we're picking this stuff up. Our labor costs are up, that we're having to pay employees, the equipment, the wear and tear, and we're doing it for free. We want to be able to give a service to the public, but we also, y'all have a right to make sure that it's good stewards of how we're able to do it, and to be able to provide that service it can't be free. So I think across the board, maybe a little and I'm not saying like it's huge amounts. We're just talking about a couple of dollars, residential probably, because, people with residential have the same opportunity as some of the apartments and stuff. They're able to put limbs and debris out throughout the week. And then look at our apartment complexes, and we even have some businesses that we pick up boxes and stuff just about daily that we're not charging. So what I would say is have a workshop, present all this to you to look at, because it's basically based on size-wise, and roughly talk with Mr. Tim and Libby. You're looking at for example, your apartment complexes, a fee of like $250 a month to come through, get the debris that we're having to pick up, the furniture, things like that, because we're having to get it. Guys got to go all the way to Mendenhall to be able to unload and get that stuff off. So that offsets the cost and stuff for the city. And then people are not paying a fee right now, period, for garbage. And I think just the simplest solution for us, for the board, for the city, and even, for the best thing for the citizens to keep this cleaned up, because this has been a huge ongoing problem that we've dealt with. and we just take it and kind of go across the board with it, make a general assumption charge, and look at it, get a list of the businesses, because we used, and this is just one, for example, Mr. Rusty Clover's business right here. You know, we can't charge him $100 for a commercial fee when he's just putting a little bit more than residential out there. So it's kind of on a business by business basis, no different than Miss Allison and them over here at Central, you know, them having to pay $250 for, you know, just a 1 week pickup that they're getting now. So I think it's looked at on that basis of it, but I think that's kind of the start of it, and I would recommend a workshop on that to kind of, you know, get the ideas, put something together, have the ordinance rewrote, you know, with the new city attorney and stuff coming up, and that way it can be publicized, and, you know, within the next, you know, couple of meetings or next month or so, be able to have that and say, okay, this is what we've got to do across the board, so to be able to help rectify that problem. So that would be my recommendation looking at it. I know it's been just an
I think it's
ongoing.
something we can discuss in the workshop.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the best
Good idea
thing.
there,
Yes,
sounds
sir.
good.
Shane, you really had good ideas, because these already apartment complexes in college said, we got these mattresses, we got this furniture,
Yes,
we
sir.
need to pick up. I said, who, you pay garbage? Oh, no, I got a dumpster.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then they want us to come pick that stuff
Yeah,
up.
because the dumpsters are not able to throw that in, so.
Oh, that's it, that's not everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all let me know, you go to E-Town, we'll
Hey,
work it out.
whenever y'all decide,
Yeah.
whatever y'all decide, you know, I'll be glad to, you know, I'll get with Miss Livy and Tim and, you know, maybe present something. That's why I didn't email you or present nothing on paper, because I felt it was easier to kind of explain it than it was for me to write it down, and then just, you know, the notes, and then have the workshop.
Shane, I tell you what, check Pearl and Brandon, they charge for their grab truck coming down.
Yes, sir, they do. They have additional, that's another thing, they have additional charges if you need more than one pickup, so that would be something too to look at.
Yeah,
So-
we fixed to buy a new one.
Yes, sir.
Give us two out there.
That's exactly, so that's an extra man, cost, fuel, wear and tear, so, for that, so. But that'd be my proposal to the board for that.
Maybe
so.
some more towns and cities, yeah.
Yes, sir. The only other thing is I asked, for an executive over
Okay.
a personnel.
Yeah.
matter, so.
Any other property, any other problems you need to address or anything?
What about this big thick thing that's in our packet?
That's gonna be off that website, the app. That's gonna be a list of properties and stuff that in town. I think Miss Penny printed the book off, so, for y'all, so that kind of gives you just an individual, to kind of see what that app does, what, you know, what we use, so. I know there's been some properties, been in question here lately, I was able to give Mr. Mark an update on one earlier. I know it's an ongoing thing, and Miss Penny works on it a lot, the vehicles and stuff in town, taking a hard push against it again too. People are starting to let them collect back in the city, so.
And I talked with Shane about this
Yes, sir.
before the meeting, and I'm seeing more and more derelict vehicles.
Yes, sir.
All over me. I just saw some up here on the old 49 this week that have not been there.
Yes, sir. So-
And I know they ain't running.
No, yes, sir. I agree.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's piling up.
Yeah. So-
So that's something to keep an eye on.
Yes, sir, we will.
Need to be addressing that when you see it.
Yes, sir.
I know I see it.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, but, other than that, the next big thing is just our building across the street, and then we'll have a hearing next board meeting on the 5 properties from last board meeting that y'all voted on the house.
Well,
So-
is there any news on that other building? Did you
Uh,
ever hear anything from the guy?
Yes and no. It really, the only thing is till we get our bids to be able to go from there. That's the only update I can really give you, to be honest with you. So, once we get that, open them to see where we're at, then we'll be able to move forward on that, to be able to take care of that problem. Because that is gonna be it's different than just having a house taken down, so. But I have met with the owners on both sides of it. Personally, I went and spoke with them, Miss Lacy, and the lady that owns Sassy Glass that owns the property next to it. went over what's gonna happen and stuff with them. They're both in agreements and prepared to do what they both agreed to help with the safe zone around it too. Using their properties and stuff to help rope off a little bit to make it safer for whatever, debris does fall, so. But yeah, we're moving forward with it. Hopefully, I hope to say by next board meeting, we'll be able to move forward with having it completely taken down before April, so. That would be great, especially before the bicentennial, so that's the goal, is to get it down and have it cleaned up before then, so. Yes, ma'am. So, but that's all I got.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, fire department matters, Buck.
Lord, I really don't have anything unless y'all got any questions for me on that.
You're doing a good job. Buck's being trained by the best, Lane Steele, 40 years experience.
Yep.
You don't have
Thank you,
anything?
Buck, for all y'all
No, I don't
do.
have anything.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Okay, that includes everybody unless you bring emergency matters. That's an executive session.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
We talked about last, about cleaning the building here at City Hall.
All right.
We need a janitor service or something cleaning this building.
I got a couple quotes I was gonna give.
Do you?
Yeah.
I know. I got an email this afternoon on one,
Did I?
You got one second?
an email where, do you have a copy of it, Penny, or
No, but I can get one.
Well, then
can you get us one real quick?
I was gonna, let y'all talk about it in the meeting.
And, huh?
I was gonna let y'all talk about it in that meeting Thursday.
I'll get a copy.
Well, we'll have to, that would have to be listed. Well, no, yes, it would. What about the cleanup? He was supposed to get
Oh, here it is.
some more bids on the entrances into Magee.
RJ did.
Yeah, but what they had was too vague and,
I talked to him, y'all tell me.
Those were
I got-
non-conforming. Brett said those were non-conforming bids.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
what
done one
Brett
over,
said.
yeah. I called to the lowest bid, he said he meant $350 per time, which we do it 18 times like our grass cut.
Yeah, but he's got to cut, he's got 28, 149, 541, and all where he's got to cut all that debris back. On 149, all that cane that's on the right of way, has got to be cut down where he can clean.
Well, the only thing about 149 that came, we gonna have to get him DOT permission on that.
Mendenhall, Collins, Mize, and Mount Olive, they all cut it.
Okay. I know me and DOT, man, I send him a text.
I mean, they keep theirs cut, why can't we?
I said,
About our, at Marvin Jackson Park, have you decided on who's gonna get that bid to mow over there?
is, no, I mean,
We've had
well,
those bids.
here's the deal. We hired it. Yeah, we hired that fourth employee at City Park.
So he's supposed to.
We got plenty to do, yeah.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
don't need that bid?
Don't need it. Mm.
She works here.
Yes, you can. Yeah.
That's too much.
He goes together.
That's the same.
Is this the only one you have, Penny?
That's the only one that I had. There was another, the other lady said that y'all already had her stuff, unless she gave it to John.
I got it.
You got it.
You got it, okay. Then maybe we can discuss that Thursday then.
I mean,
We need all
you
that.
wouldn't have, you to, I just give me a couple.
Okay, that'd be it. Anything else, y'all? Anything else? All right. We need a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to close the meeting.
Motion to close the meeting.
Make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
Second. All right, Martin.